April 1st, 2026 Stanley County Board of Education meeting to order. Welcome to those of you that are here in attendance and to those that may be joining us via live streaming. We truly appreciate your support of Stanley County Schools. May I now have a motion to approve the April 1st, 2026 regularly monthly meeting agenda as presented?
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion by Ms. Whitaker, a second by Ms. Watson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The agenda has been approved. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call on Ms. Carla Poplin for our invocation and pledge of allegiance to the flag.
If you would bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together today. We're here for the service of our schools and our community. We are grateful for the students who inspire us daily and the educators who guide them and the families who support them. Help us to make good decisions. Help us to lead with wisdom and fairness. And help us to do all of that in your name, we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Poplin. On the agenda at this time are recognitions, what we always, as a board, look very forward to. So Dr. Dennis, Ms. Hedrick, I will turn this over to you.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, board and guests. Each month, Stanley County Schools proudly recognizes our exceptional certified and classified employees as Stanley Stars. This month, we would like to honor the following individuals. In absentia, Parker Hatley from Oakboro Choice STEM. He is a 5th grade teacher. I'd like to ask Lisa Waits to join Dr. Dennis up front. Miss Waits is a bookkeeper at Oakboro Choice STEM School, and we are happy to recognize her as a Stanley Star this month. We are incredibly grateful for Mrs. Waits, whose dedication and hard work keep everything running smoothly each day. As the bookkeeper, she does so much more than manage finances. She is the welcoming face in the front office, the friendly voice answering phones, and a constant source of support for both staff and families. Whether she is organizing transportation, making copies for teachers on short notice, taking temperatures, or helping solve unexpected problems, Mrs. Waits handles it all with patience, efficiency, and care. Her willingness to step in wherever she is needed and her positive attitude make a lasting impact on our school, and we are truly appreciative of everything she does to support our students, teachers, and community. Please give her a round of applause. I would now like to invite Jennifer Brown, math teacher at Stanley STEM Early College, to the front. When Mrs. Brown came to the STEM Early College, she didn't just join the team. She wanted to make an impact beyond her math classroom. Since arriving, she has had amazing growth from her Math 1 students over the last 3 years. She has participated in professional development to grow her skills and is not afraid to step outside of her comfort zone if it helps strengthen her instruction. This year, she saw an opportunity to weave STEM into the fabric of every classroom, and she collaborated with a team of teachers to create a monthly event they call C-Time, Shout Out, Explore, and Advise. This fall, Ms. Brown also orchestrated a memorable field experience for the entire 9th grade, which included navigating giant canoes at Morrow Mountain, engaging with park rangers about careers in STEM. She also launched our very first school-wide project-based learning initiative in which students researched and designed toothpick bridges. She coordinated with DOT engineers to present to all of the students about the intricacies of bridges and guide students through the design process. The engineers returned at the end of the semester to test and provide feedback on the final bridge creations. This semester, she's coordinated with the 9th grade team to lead students through a series of monthly STEM challenges that each teacher has designed to focus on aerodynamics, ending with a trip to Discovery Place so students can experience the ultimate flight exhibition. Beyond the projects and her instruction, it is who Mrs. Brown is as a person that truly changes Stanley STEM's campus. Staff use words like energy, recognizing that her can-do attitude lifts others around her. Encouragement, noting that she encourages students and fills them with the confidence needed to be successful. And leadership, because she willingly took on the role of sit chair and serves as our IC teacher mentor. Over the past 3 years, Mrs. Brown's students have achieved outstanding growth, and that is what is most recognized. But her positivity and genuine care for others to be their best radiates among teachers and students alike, and that is why she is recognized as a Stanley STEM star. Please give her a round of applause. I would now like to invite Drew Lautcher, school counselor, to the front. Mr. Lautcher joined Stanley STEM Early College this year as our school counselor, and from day one has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to do whatever it takes to support our students and school community. He truly embodies the spirit of dedication and collaboration. Transitioning back into a high school setting after working at the elementary level can be challenging, especially given the wide range of responsibilities, reporting requirements, and diverse student needs. Mr. Lautcher has embraced this transition with a positive attitude, flexibility, curiosity, and determination. He has quickly reestablished his high school expertise by leading monthly senior seminars, supporting juniors with academic planning, and contributing a fresh and thoughtful perspective to school-based processes. His knowledge of post-secondary pathways has been instrumental in guiding students through college applications and course registration. He works closely with students to ensure their academic plans align with their individual goals for future success. In addition to providing academic, college, and career guidance, he also supports students' social emotional needs. His teammates have noticed that he approaches sensitive situations with care, professionalism, and a strong focus on preserving each student's dignity and well-being. His ability to build trusting relationships allows students to feel seen, heard, and supported. Mr. Lautcher is often the first person to greet students in the morning, and his warm, welcoming demeanor makes him highly approachable for both students and staff. He plays an integral role in weekly grade level meetings where he monitors student progress, celebrates improvements, and proactively reaches out to students regarding deadlines, concerns, or needed supports. Beyond his counseling duties, Mr. Lautcher consistently goes above and beyond to support the broader school community. This fall, he led the Save Club in organizing a canned food drive, collecting over 700 pounds of food for those in need. His willingness to step in wherever needed reflects his strong commitment to the success of the entire school. Our staff consistently describes Mr. Lautcher as collaborative, dependable, and someone who goes above and beyond expectations, which is why he is recognized as a Stanley STEM star. Please give him a round of applause. I would like to invite Emily Morgan, 4th and 5th grade reading teacher, from Stanfield to the front. Stanfield's team is strong and strives to grow in their own profession and support students' academic success, and Emily Morgan is a great example of this. As a former Stanfield student herself, Emily returned to Stanfield 7 years ago with a deep commitment to give back to the community that shaped her. She is goal-driven, student-centered, and relentlessly focused on academic success. 3 years ago, when asked to transition from 1st grade to 4th grade, She stepped out of her comfort zone without hesitation and embraced the challenge wholeheartedly. Beyond the project, since that transition, her students have exceeded growth, earning recognition at both the district and state levels. Emily invests her time in summer to help create summer plans with administration and teacher teams to close achievement gaps. She also supports students across the district through the Reading Summer Camp to help them meet Read to Achieve guidelines. Emily wants Stanfield to succeed. She pushes students, supports her colleagues, and works tirelessly for collective growth. We are incredibly fortunate to have her at Stanfield Elementary. Please give her a round of applause. And last but certainly not least, I would like to invite Tiffany Butler, third grade instructional assistant, to join us at the front. It is a joy to recognize Tiffany Butler, a third grade instructional assistant, as a Stanley Star. Mrs. Butler is the definition of dedication. She rarely misses a day because she knows her students depend on her presence, consistency, and support. If you walk the halls of Stanfield, you will almost always see her working with small reading and math groups, meeting students where they are and helping them move forward. She cares deeply about both students and staff and genuinely wants to see everyone succeed. Her positive spirit and strong relationships make her a favorite among our team, evident in the many staff t-shirts and goose-themed celebrations inspired by her. She brings joy, energy, and commitment to Stanfield every single day. Mrs. Butler is a big part of what makes Stanfield special, and we are incredibly fortunate to have her as part of the instructional team. Please give Mrs. Butler a round of applause. And at this time, Stanley Stars, I know Ms. Coble would like to take a group picture. And after that, I know the board wants to thank you for your efforts, so we'll just go down the board and they would like to shake your hands. All right. Thank y'all.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. I would like to introduce tonight for our next recognition, Ms. Renee Van Horn, Executive Director of the Stanley County Arts Council, and Ms. Kelly Dombrowski, who is the Chair of the Board of Directors for Stanley County Arts Council.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here this evening. We are very excited to share with you our Fine Arts Educator of the Year. The Fine Arts Educator Award, affectionately known as the Jim Kennedy Award, in loving memory of longtime arts advocate, teacher, and coach, Mr. James D. Kennedy. The award recognizes a fine arts teacher in the Stanley County public school system who has made a significant positive impact on the arts in education and who has inspired students to pursue, appreciate, and respect the fine arts. This year, it is our pleasure to announce that the 2026 Fine Arts Teacher of the Year is Miss Jordan Owen, the music teacher at Indy Elementary. Ms. Owen was nominated by her principal, Jody Autry, whose nomination explains why she is so deserving of this award. Ms. Owen has a passion for music and the arts, matched with a musical talent that she shares with students. Although she is only in her 3rd year as a music teacher at Indy, she has already achieved amazing things. She began a student choral group, Indy Voices, that has given over 60 students each semester an opportunity to explore music, cultures, and global arts. She spends time after school working with students that aspire to audition for county-level choral groups and teaching music to the Indy Voices Club. This school year, she took the initiative to apply and was awarded a $12,000 grant from the North Carolina Arts Council to bring the dancing drum to Indy students. She seeks opportunities to develop her own practice by attending professional development opportunities, such as the North Carolina Music Educators Conference in Winston-Salem. Ms. Owen has such a passion for the arts and enjoys sharing that passion with her students. Earlier, Ms. Owen had her students perform for the Celebration of the Arts, and on April 3rd, they will be singing the national anthem for the Kannapolis Intimidators. She truly is the teacher who finds the talent within her students and provides them the opportunities to shine. The Cartwheels Grant is the grant that I mentioned, and that is a North Carolina Arts Council grant, which provides high-quality in-school arts performances and residences to foster school resiliency, problem-solving, and self-empowerment from their students. It offers K-12 students intensive workshops with professional artists, culminating in collaborative performances that support emotional health and creative learning. This year, the Cartwheels program focused on building students' resiliency through the arts. In-school performance and art experiences provide creative practices and programmatic content that support students' problem-solving skills and promote healing, reflection, and self-empowerment through the arts. We are excited that Ms. Owen took the opportunity to apply for this grant and was awarded the funds to bring the dancing drum to Indy Elementary.
Good evening to our board members, the community, and viewers at home. My name is Judith Taylor, and I'm the Director of Elementary Education, and I am thrilled to be here to celebrate some unbelievable talent. On February 26th, we held our annual district spelling bee. 16 elite competitors took the stage representing every elementary and middle school across the county. The room was buzzing with excitement. There were tense nerves, a packed house, and incredibly difficult words were presented. Our students really had to put on their thinking caps and wings to perform that day. After several intense rounds, one student emerged at the top of our hive. Please recognize Mr. Hank Nelson from Oakboro Choice STEM School. This is a three-peat, Hank's third time as our champion. Hank, please fly on up here to receive your certificate. I would like to share share a big thank you to the competitors and their supportive families, a shout out to our School B coordinators who worked tirelessly for this event, and a special thanks to you all, our board members who came out to cheer on our spelling swarm. Thank you so much, and thank you to Hank's family for being here this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Sorry, 1 second. I had this pulled up and it went off on me. There we go. You got yours. And shut down.
Is this what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Well, there it goes. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. We want to recognize some of our athletes. As we always do academics, we also have excellent athletics here in Stanley County. And we had some teams and some individuals that really showed up for state competitions, winning first place. All right. The first I would like to recognize is wrestling. And if they're here in the crowd, please come forward. And coaches as well, please come if you're a coach. From North Stanley High School, Nash Mullis. From South Stanley High School, we got Aki Holt and Noah Sapp. And from West Stanley High School, the women's 1A to 4A individual team, which is Cheyenne Barnhall, Felicity Harem, Caitlin Kiker. If you'll come forward. Coaches, would y'all like to say anything? Well, you were there. No?
Good job.
Good job. Well, we're very impressed and we're very proud of you. Thank you for all your accomplishments.
Sorry. Step back. I wasn't fast enough. That's what I'm trying to smile. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Track.
Oh, I have it up.
Yeah. All apologies. My screen here is not running, so it's kind of messing me up. For track and field, we do have state champions. North Stanley High School, I have Justice Grambling. I also have the 4x200 meter indoor track with Rosia Burton, Jamar Croat, Kalen Dockery, and Nathan Helms, which are not in attendance, but congratulations. Thank you.
I see the little girl back there that has really cheered them on with the little pink. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, I really would like to. I see the coaches, and I see the principals of our schools, and if we have any ADs as well. But would all of you please stand? Our principals, our coaches, our ADs. We appreciate so much the time you put in with these students, and we are just so proud. Thank you for all you do. And for all of our athletes, keep up the good work. I know you work hard, so thank you. And for everyone that we recognized tonight, you make Stanley County Schools proud. So thank you very, very much. At this time, could I please have a motion to enter into closed session for Personnel Matters, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6. Student Matters, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1. Attorney-Client Matters, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3. And Acquisition of Real Property, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.005. May I have a motion, please? A motion by Ms. Watson, second. Second by Ms. Whitaker. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We are now in closed session, and it will be a while before we come out again. I know you may want to leave. Thank you very much. I'm going to call the board back into open session. We did not have anyone to sign up for public comments tonight. So we're going to move to the consent agenda. I feel like you've had time to look at those minutes from the March 3rd regular board meeting. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the item March the 3rd regular board meeting minutes? Okay. A motion by Mr. Sorensen, a second. Second by Mr. Lisk. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Okay, the consent agenda's been approved. Next is continuing credits. And I know we've done this before, I believe, for, several of us. And I know Hope has checked into us receiving board member training credit. I just want to go through this a little bit. Last Monday, a week ago, on March the 23rd, Dr. Dennis Robin and I were provided an opportunity to participate in what's called BEST North Carolina, the 2026 Education Innovation Lab. And it's a nonpartisan education advocacy group. It was made up of educators, policymakers, other state, national leaders came together to discuss really how the state could better meet the needs of students through what was called tailored learning. And the idea of tailored learning is not new. And in some ways, it's already happening. And it is happening in our classrooms in Stanley County with personalization, mastery-based learning, competency-based education. Really, when I think about it, and I'm looking at you, Mr. Plummer, really, it's in our schools. The meeting was really an effort to pull all of those terms and efforts under a larger umbrella and create more of a common language that helps to shape policy and practice. So that basically, kind of in a nutshell, was what this was about. I truly enjoyed it. I gained a lot of knowledge, and a lot of that was through networking with just the people that were there. And then we had breakout sessions, and that was very interesting as well. One of the breakout sessions actually was a lesson taught, an AVID lesson, and really, really interesting. I do believe that I can speak for all three of us that we enjoyed the BEST North Carolina Education Innovation Lab, and it was great. It very much was noticed that Stanley County Schools was there. It was definitely noticed that our superintendent was there. There were other superintendents, but it was very much noticed that Dr. Dennis took part in this. So at this time, I'm requesting a motion from the board that Robin and I receive board training hours. Do you need hours? Okay. So for Robin and I, that we need board training hours, and I know that's something then Hope submits on our behalf. So I am requesting that, if I could have a motion that we receive training hours for this, I would appreciate it.
Motion to approve the training hours for Madam Chair Linda and Vice Chair Rob.
Okay. A motion by Mr. Lisk. Is there a second? Okay, a second by Mr. Sorensen. Any more discussion? I've tried to give you kind of an overview of things. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. This has been approved, and thank you. Thank you so much. And I do know that I believe that we've done this in the past for several of us with having to come to the board to ask for training hours. Next, we have the budget resolution. And I know Dr. Dennis has prepared a Stanley County Schools resolution urging the passage of a state budget. And I would like to call on Dr. Dennis at this time to read through this budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you all know, North Carolina is the only state in the United States right now with no state with the active budget. So the North Carolina School Board Association sent out a form resolution that you could add things into and customize it for your individual school board. So that's what I've brought to you tonight. So I'll read it in the record. It's the Stanley County Schools Resolution urging budget passage. Whereas North Carolina General Statute 143C41 states the General Assembly shall create a budget for 2 fiscal years beginning on July 1st of each odd number year. And whereas it is 9 months into fiscal year 2026 and a current Operations Appropriations Act has not been enacted by the General Assembly. And whereas Stanley County Schools receives approximately 65% of the funding from state appropriations and builds its budget according to those appropriations. And whereas the 2026 short session convenes on April 21st, less than 1 month before local boards must submit their budgets to county commissioners. And whereas Stanley County Schools and Stanley County government have had to plan the fiscal year 2027 budget without knowledge of state appropriations for the current fiscal year, let alone the next one. And whereas the amount of state appropriations impacts allocation of federal and local funds, as well as requests made of local governments within the budget process for expenditures, including teacher supplements, school resource officers, utility costs, administrative salaries, substitute teachers, student information data managers, custodial staff, secretarial staff, teachers for classroom size reductions, curriculum coaches, curriculum supplies and materials, dean of student salaries, athletic directors and coaches, employee onboarding costs, contract services, and technology equipment software. And whereas despite the provision in North Carolina General Statute 143C-5-4B for budget continuation of reoccurring funds at the level of the previous fiscal year, the failure to pass a biennial budget has forced Stanley County Schools to operate with significant budget uncertainty well into the current fiscal year. And whereas despite provisions for step increases, without passage of an Appropriations Act, salaries of approximately 1,000 employees in Stanley County Schools are frozen at the 2024-2025 levels. And whereas lack of a budget and frozen pay scales, coupled with the rise in premium for district employees participating in the North Carolina State Health Plan, has resulted in a net pay decrease for teachers and school employees in Stanley County Schools. And whereas Stanley County strives to meet nationally recommended staffing ratios for school health personnel, requiring sufficient state appropriations to do so. And now therefore be it resolved that the Stanley County Board of Education does hereby request that the North Carolina General Assembly immediately pass a 2026 Appropriations Act that mirrors the House proposal for all school employees and school employee salaries in the second year of their proposed budget, which is State Bill 257 version 6, includes increases at every level and provides education-based salary supplements. Increases the public school repair and renovation fund from $50 million to $70 million as proposed in both the 2025 Senate and House budget plans. Allocates $27.9 million in reoccurring funds for 320 additional school health personnel positions. Implements a weighted funding model for exceptional children funding, approximately $92.6 million reoccurring and $27.2 non-reoccurring per DPI, or in its absence, a minimum increase of the cap at 13.5% of allotted ADM at a cost of $20 million in recurring funds. Be it further resolved that the school board chair and superintendent are authorized to disseminate this resolution to members of the North Carolina General Assembly and the governor, and the board encourages parents, students, and other community members to contact their North Carolina legislators requesting that the General Assembly pass a state budget that includes the items listed above, adopted by the Stanley County Schools Board of Education this first day of April 2026.
Thank you, and I appreciate you putting this budget resolution together for us. We may have some comments that board members want to make, but first of all, I would like to just ask for a motion that we approve and submit the Stanley County Schools resolution urging the passage of a state budget? Okay, by Mr. Sorensen, a motion. A second?
Second.
Now, is there any discussion or any comment? Okay, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Okay, the budget resolution has passed, and so we are authorizing Dr. Dennis to get this budget resolution to our members of the North Carolina General Assembly, to Governor Stein, to Representative Cody Honeycutt, and Senator Carl Ford. Please. Thank you. Next, we have committee reports, and the first one is curriculum and instruction with Mr. Sorensen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We met on the 17th of March in the afternoon. Got 3 items that we discussed rather deeply. One is a AP offerings for early colleges, which will allow Mr. Plummer, Mr. Raper to come out in a couple minutes to talk about that. They give the sales pitch better than I can, but it's a great thing, and I think it's going to be good for our students. We also talked about the Bible class consideration, follow up on that, and I'll let Mr. Plummer speak to that as well. I'm excited about the opportunity to provide that to our students. And we finally talked about EO year or end of year test prep. If you haven't been in a high school this time of year, either elementary school, this is the go-to time where people are working really hard, and our EOY or end of year test prep stuff's being took care of. That's another Mr. Plummer, Mrs. Raper type thing. Mrs. Raper, I just made you a man, I'm sorry. Last thing we discussed was the restart model currently being discussed by a county commissioner, and discussed the criteria and procedures. Basically, the restart program is a state of North Carolina experiment to address significantly deficient school systems, which we are not. And I met with that specific commissioner on primary day, and I told him to stay in his lane, and I'd like that to go on the record. I don't appreciate county commissioners trying to tell us how to run our school system. If they want to do that, they need to run for school board. And if I sound angry, it's because I am. We have a great system. We are overachieving in Stanley County schools. Why in the world would we consider trashing everything and introducing mayhem? And that is exactly what that would do. And as I understand it, we don't qualify for it anyway. We're too good. But it really bothers me that it was an end around. In my opinion, this commissioner is an end around going to our state senator trying to arrange something without even contacting us or letting us know what the deal was. I love anybody and everybody to come to us with ways to make more money, ways to have more flexibility, but don't assume because something works in another county and it doesn't work. If you look at the county that it's been applied to, it's not working, it hasn't worked in 7 years. Why would we destroy what we've got going on here? So I'd hate to get all violent, or not violent, but vicious about it. I take what the people of our school system are doing very seriously. We're overachieving. These people over here, we're overachieving. Our principals, our teachers, they're overachieving. If it ain't broke, please do not fix it. So I'm going to turn things over to Mr. I got them all wound up now, Mr. Plummer. I'll turn it over to you to talk about the good stuff.
Thank you. When we talk about advanced placement courses, we have not just addressed that as just early colleges. We've actually looked at advanced placement courses, AP courses across the district in all of our high schools. Ms. Raper has done presentations with them and had conversations with them about the impacts of those AP courses. We were looking at numbers today, and as of today, we have 274 students. Might be a little off there in the fact that one student may be interested in more than one course. So it's not individual unique students of those 274, but 274 students who are interested in AP courses. We've got 7 courses that teachers across the district have shown an interest in and are wanting to get certified to be able to teach those courses and have the professional development to do it. So of those 7 courses, we've got students in different places, different parts of the county who have shown that interest. So being able to do those, I know Dr. Simmons and Ms. Dombrowski are certainly in the trenches with that because they have teachers who have jumped on board within those courses to be able to offer them as well. So while we know that all of our AP courses don't necessarily make or don't have enough students to do those, we've had conversations with principals that if we're building this program, we may have to start small in some of these classes. And if you've got a handful of students, give those teachers the time to get that curriculum under their belt, market it with the students that they feel like would best benefit from those opportunities, and grow that program as we move forward. Anything you want to add about advanced placement?
The only thing I would add is, Madam Chair, this goes directly to your discussion earlier about us knowing our students and us providing that differentiated options and opportunities for our students. Mr. Sorensen is correct. We have some of the highest performing students that I have ever worked with. And so what we want to ensure is, as our teachers have those students prepared to be college and career ready, that we are providing them those college and career rigorous courses that can best benefit them not only in their high school career, also in their community college career, if that's what they're deciding to look at, but also in their transcript as they are looking at post-secondary options. So again, what we are hoping to build, as Mr. Plummer said, is a program of where we're working directly with our students, really pushing them for that high level achievement and making sure that we have an option for them to keep pushing them further to the highest level that they can be.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Plummer or Ms. Raper, whoever wants to take it, will one of you explain, just for the general public, how taking an AP course can set you up to know what that college course pacing and standards are going to look like, but taking that AP exam does not necessarily hurt a student if they do not get the credit?
That is a great point. Thank you for that question. So the way that AP courses are laid out, so AP meaning advanced placement, they are designed by the College Board. They are designed to be incredibly rigorous and fast-paced. So what it is meant to do is really take that student that is already achieving at a high level, put them in that high-level rigorous class, and really show them exactly what that college-level curriculum and material and pacing would look like while they are inside of a high school classroom. The best part about that is when they are within our classroom, they are working directly with the teachers that they know, that they have a relationship with, and quite frankly, that are true professionals and experts in their craft. So if we are going to take our students and give them an opportunity to sample a true college course with that rigor, that pace, those expectations, there's no better place to do that than with one of our teachers in front of them. Just as Ms. Poplin said, yes, there is an exam that is associated with all AP courses. Frequently, when students take those exams, all are given in the spring. If they score a level 3 on that exam, they may receive community college credits, and they may also receive college credits at any of the 16 North Carolina public universities. They may also translate to private universities as well. If they score a 4 or a 5, they can receive other credits that go above and beyond that. However, if they do not score on that test, that is not a lost opportunity. What that means is that student challenged themselves. They put themselves in a challenging situation, knowing that they were going to take on this rigorous coursework, knowing that they were going to take on additional responsibilities, but they still chose to take that challenge. And so whether they make a 3 or higher on that exam, they have still gained so much from that course. Also, a lot of these courses are not what we call in addition to, they can be called instead of. So for example, AP Language, by a student taking that course and passing the course, not necessarily the exam, but the course, they receive their English 3 high school credit. So that's what we mean the instead of. So while the student has chosen to challenge themselves, they are still getting their high school credits whether they make a 3, 4, or 5 on that exam. Lastly, a lot of colleges recognize that rigor level. And so even for some students who make a level 2 on the exam, while they may not necessarily receive course credit at that university, they may waive an entrance exam that they have to take upon going. So it's really, in a lot of cases, a no-lose situation. There's a lot of gain to be had, and again, I want to go back to, I want to make sure if my child's going to challenge themselves, I want them with someone who's there to be supportive and guide them through it. If they're going to fail, I want them to fail with somebody who's there to support them and guide them through it, and that's our teachers. And so we want them to experience this while they're with us, and so when they do leave us, they're prepared.
And I think
Thank you.
on that last note with that too is very powerful. I was at a conference 2 weeks ago, and the College Board folks came and spoke to us, and Ryan Bird, who works for the College Board and is coming to our principals meeting on April 16th just to talk about some of these things with our principals, he said a student who passes the AP exam or doesn't take the AP exam loses nothing for not passing. But a student who takes it and has the opportunity to pass gains everything. And just giving them that opportunity. I think for so long we've heard those 3s, 4s, and 5s, and I think our colleges and universities are having to even revamp their ways of doing things. And what does this mean? If a student has been in this course, they may have only scored a 2, but we know they already know this. So where can they go into our coursework above and beyond and not start at those entry-level courses, so to speak?
Mr. Plummer, would there be a second part of the calculus offered? Because I think there's a 2-part, right? The pre-calculus and then the calculus in order to get that credit.
There's several. So there is an AP pre-calculus course, and that is by far the course that we have had the greatest interest in. And that can take the place of the student's Math 4. If they are able to score on that, they can get 171, 172 credits at the community college. So great opportunity. After that, there is Calculus AB as a standalone course and a Calculus BC as a standalone course. So there's actually 2 additional calculus courses on top of the AP. Right now, we do not have cohorts necessarily built for that. But what we would like to see with the amount of interest that we have in our AP calculus, or excuse me, AP pre-calculus, at one school alone, we have 44 students that have signed up for it next year. We're hoping we can get that cohort going and then be able to add on those additional AP calculus offerings.
Out of those 274 total interest in AP courses, 103 of those are AP pre-cal alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got these numbers. They'll be in the weekly newsletter when Hope shares it this week.
I love this for the students. I think this is a great opportunity. But like I've mentioned a lot, I want to make sure that our teachers feel supported. They feel ready to do this. And I wasn't going to say anything, but I feel like it needs to be said because this is a lot of work on them. And I don't want all this work to just be put on a few teachers. I want to make sure that our teachers feel supported. They have the ability to go into this the right way instead of feeling bombarded. So what does that look like coming from the College Board, being supported by us?
I think that's a great question. I think the number one support that they have is the training up front. I think the number 2 thing that they have is the AP classroom online materials and resources that are there to help. They're not out there digging up and finding their resources on their own. It's their tried and true things that do work. However, I agree with you on the back end. We definitely want to thank them for taking this bull by the horns and doing something with it, because we know that the best place our students can be is in our seats with our teachers and getting that care. So what can we do to help and support that? And I think working with both human resources and finance, being able to figure out what that looks like and having a plan that doesn't just work for today and for these pioneers that are jumping back into it for us. What does that mean moving forward and being able to be sustainable with that?
We also had approximately, was it 6 RTAs, request to attends?
Mm-hmm.
That we just signed off this past week for teachers who are choosing to do one of the summer institutes for AP, which is phenomenal PD. Even if you are not going to be an AP teacher, the teaching strategies you receive from this professional development is incredible. And so our district does pay for the cost of them to attend this. Most of these are virtual. There are some options that they can go to it, but College Board does have those virtual options as well, so we're supporting there. We're also looking at different types of resources that we could provide the teachers to help them inside of their classrooms.
And I think if we've got more and more who are interested and are using it and teaching it, no matter what school they're at, we can grow our own community here and let them bounce off of each other and have each other as resources and supports and not be a standalone island to do those things. That will help as well.
Okay.
Did you have another question about this, AP?
Well, number one, you
Okay.
know, I've talked about it forever, so I am so thrilled with this. When you have a class that might have 8 students, now, if I heard you right, we may have a class of 8 students.
Very well.
So we're not trying to have students from another high school come and join this group to make a larger class.
If we have a student that at school A that is interested in taking the course and it's not offered at their school, but they know I want to do it and they would like to look at opportunities to take the course at another campus, we can certainly look into that. I don't know that AP is the best option for not having everybody around the table and being able to have the deep discussions and work through the writing and really have your teacher there as the mentor to understand the content for that course and be successful with it. But I think as we do with other courses, looking at what that may look like if we have to travel between campuses to make sure that we do have access, but at the same time, we've seen some growth of teacher interest as well, and what that may look like moving forward with other teachers. It may not be all for first semester, maybe we could do it second semester, maybe it could be next year.
Right. You know, I heard you say that most 103 were in AP pre-calculus that you have. Is that going to be spread across all 4 high schools? Does it look like right now?
So out of the 6, including the early colleges, there are 5 of the 6 have an interest in AP offerings, or in AP calculus, sorry.
Okay. And I remember seeing that list, like of, you know, all of these AP, and I remember you saying, we won't hit them all. It's not all going to happen at one time.
Well, and we've narrowed this down just based on what the students showed interest in. Some of them are more so than others. The numbers will be in the newsletter this week, but AP English Language, AP English Literature, AP Pre-Cal, AP Statistics, AP Biology, AP U.S. History, and AP World History are the 7 that
Have interest.
big interest was around.
Madam Chair, just one more comment. I know me and Mr. Plummer have had this conversation many times, and it comes up, but I just want to reiterate, I know for myself as a high school student taking an AP course, I still had a lot of reservation walking into a lecture hall for a biology class when I went to college, because you cannot really prepare yourself to walk into a room with 100 other students in there, and there's a professor down there teaching, and then you walk out and you're expected to just do. So I want our parents and students and staff to really understand that this is the time to step out, take that experience, learn from it, so that you don't walk into that room completely off guard. And this is a great way to do that. And like you said, it really is a no punishment type sort of situation. If you make well on the test, that's great. If not, you're not really getting punished for not doing well.
You're exactly
And
right. We
you're
don't
getting
want-
the experience either way.
We don't want any of our students to fail, but if we are going to have hiccups and we are going to have struggles along the way, I'd rather it be done in an AP pre-calculus class of 10 or in an AP biology class of 17 instead of an auditorium of 250.
One more thing I'd like to say too, and I think you alluded to it earlier, Ms. Raper, is, you know, our students, especially our students who are very college-driven, when they were the highly competitive scholarships and schools with very low acceptance rates, they need these classes to help build their portfolio and their transcript. It's imperative. Nothing else really, I mean, there's very few other options that really carry as much weight.
Well, and I think, too, we are very proud with our strong relationship with the community college, and we don't want this to take away from what we've got going. If anything, if we're taking AP, what other options does that open up at the community college through CCP? And that was one of the things that Ryan Bird with the College Board said also. AP is not either or, it's both and we can have students who are both in AP and taking CCP through the community college. We're not expecting anybody to choose one avenue or another. Fit what feels right for you. If you're strong in those math courses and you've made strong 5s all the way through on your end of grade test, then let's look at pushing that. What does that rigor look like? What does that mean as an advanced placement student in high school?
Any other questions, board members?
The other thing we were going to mention was Bible history. As of this afternoon, Derek Bush worked with our high school data managers. Many pats on the back to them for working as hard as they did to get 677 students their interest noted in their Infinite Campus registration. Because we didn't already have all of the course information in when we did registration in the late fall and then into the winter. He worked today to make sure that we had the course code and all of that ready. Data managers were meeting with him this afternoon, and he had that on his agenda to go in and put that on each of those students' Infinite Campus registration portals. So we did communicate with them this afternoon also that they should see that now on their registration. We know that does not mean that this one potential teacher can teach 677 students. They've shown the interest. In some places, we may see that class, in some places we may not, but it does not mean that it will not be offered second semester. It doesn't mean it won't be offered next year. Similarly to the advanced placement, it's one of those programs that we hope we see things grow. We can start small and we can move forward with it. So those are in Infinite Campus now, and students have the email just to let them know that that has taken place.
Mr. Plummer, so just for the public's knowledge, the Bible history will start this semester. I'm sorry.
In the fall.
Fall semester.
Correct. Fall 2026. We had talked at one point thinking it may be a spring 2027, but Dr. Dennis and I met with Pastor Brown 2 weeks ago, and we are ready to go for fall 2026.
Can I just say I'm so excited to have this, and I'm so appreciative to that amazing donor. I'm so appreciative to Pastor Brown for bringing that to the school system. This is going to give our kids an incredible opportunity that they haven't had in a lot of years, and I think it's incredibly important because it goes into, you know, we talk a lot about social emotional learning. I have my thoughts on that, and I believe that by having a Bible history class, that's going to give an even better opportunity to our students. So I'm very thankful to Mr. Sorensen, who chairs the curriculum committee, for allowing that to be a discussion and to finally see this go into action. So thank you for all your hard work.
We've been in discussion with Montgomery County and with Cabarrus County, just looking at what curriculum looks like, so we know those next steps and have that part of it pulled together so it's ready to go when we're get started in the fall.
Thank you for all your hard work on that.
Thank you.
Any other comments, board members, or questions? Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
are really excited about all of this new stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Next up is the CIP Finance. Mr. List.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance Committee, CIP Committee met on March 20th. I know that the worksheet says February 27th, but it's actually March the 20th. I was not able to attend. Madam Vice Chair graciously led the meeting, and Member Watson, Vicki Watson, attended in my place along with Mr. Sorensen. But the purpose of the meeting was to listen to the budget presentation prepared by Mr. Dudney, Sarah, and the Finance Department, and as presented by Dr. Dennis. He will go over this with the full board. The committee did approve the budget coming out of committee, so I guess, assuming once Dr. Dennis gets done, that would take a second. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Mr. Dudney has produced the, and you have these documents as well. I was not going to go everything, I'll just read it to you line item by line item. You guys can read, and I'm sure you've already looked through it, and I'm sure there'll be questions on some of the line items already when we're finished. But I did put together a little presentation for the committee, and I'll just go through it. And instead of a budget presentation, we called it an investment blueprint. And essentially, you align your capital, your local, your tech resources, which of course are including capital. It went away from me. There it goes. And it's really, these are things, and we know we're asking for a lot, and we know there's a lot of needs, and we're pragmatic about what we're going to get us where we're going to ask. But I think you have to educate everyone to say these are the areas that we need to invest our money as far as, within the school system. So if you'll go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So we look at the physical and human foundations of our district, the local funds, and the big focus on that's daily operations, and we're talking about teachers, we're talking about curriculum. Those are the big ticket items. We're looking at a $20 million, almost $20.3 million ask. The capital outlay for those of you listening or don't know, is really our infrastructure and our facilities, any physical assets, so buildings, large items, equipment, things like that. And then what lies in between is a capital, the large items are capitally funded, is kind of technology, because it is expensive and it keeps getting more and more expensive. But technology is also used with curriculum, so it kind of lies in both areas. And we've separated, like I did in another district I worked in, we separated it out to its own capital ask, and that's $1.375 million. So we look at the accounting line items and put them in our strategic priorities. As far as our priority for human capital, we need monies to recruit, retain, and support top-tier talent to drive student achievement. And we're talking about retaining, you're talking about asks like supplements and things like that. With structural integrity, the physical assets, maintaining the climates, you're looking at your air conditioning units, large, big-ticket items that actually go in, or you're talking about actually working on the structure itself. We had an opportunity with Oakboro last year that we had to do some work on the walls and the footing, so those are the kind of expenses you're looking at. Comprehensive safety, it's a multi-layered approach, because you have safety within the school, you have safety that starts with outside the school, and I'll go in a little more of that in detail in a minute. And your student experience, again, that's going back to that technology, sustaining the one-to-one, and co-curricular opportunities as well. So we kind of broke it down, your local fund and your personnel core, you'll see we have an instructional core. Those non-teaching positions, really, that comes out to your elementary, and most of them that I believe is your elementary curriculum coaches. And so we also fund 4 secondary coaches. You have leadership and admin, so you have central office admin you have to pay. you have 2 deans of students. We use deans of students because they're paid on a teaching salary, it's 10 months salary, and they don't necessarily have to have the admin degree, but they can do some admin things. As you know, we're funded about 1 to 99 or somewhere in that students per month for APs. And so if you look at a school like West Stanley, and, you know, they can only fund 1 AP, roughly. They can't even fund one, really. If you do, that's 1 10-month AP, if you use the state salary. And so we have to find creative ways to either supplement or make that up. And of course, we do have to pay, and that's kind of into my next line here, principal and AP supplements, and we have to pay 4 APs because we don't have enough that is generated through the state allotment. The operational backbone, our data managers, the maintenance positions that Keith has, the bus drivers, and the secretary. So your maintenance, your classified, we pay for that as well. So one thing, you know, we've put in and a lot of this has been in past budgets, so it shouldn't be anything new to you, budget request, I should say, is the teaching supplements. And if you look at the 652 certified teaching positions, you're looking at $3.19 million to get the teaching supplement to 7%, which is kind of what we wanted to do. Now, that's still a lot lower than districts around us, but just to be more competitive, that's the number we're trying to get at. So $2 million is pays for the teacher substitutes. The employee differentials, that's for, and you can comment on this as well, if you've got employees that are held harmless, or you've got some different opportunities with employees where it's not really met by the state, those monies cover all that. And staff development travel, we all know what that is. So if I look at the physical assets, we have a lot of older buildings, and I won't go into that, but we also have a lot of HVAC repair and replacement we're looking at, especially with some of our schools, like the middle schools that were built 20-some-odd years ago, because those units are coming into life. And we already had to replace one, and we remember that at one of our middle schools. So you're looking at 3.61 in HVAC repair and replacements. That's the controllers. That's the BARD units, which are the units that are the individual room units you'd see on the side, maybe at outside of North Stanley. I guess that's a good example. The building envelope, which is the window repairs and replacements, and we're looking at Aquadale, Locust, North Stanley High, and Millenport for those. The interiors, that's a reoccurring thing, and I think maintenance has done a good job of going in and getting some of this old carpet out, and I'm talking about carpet older than I am, coming out of these just nasty and getting it out and getting some nice floors and things like that. The campus grounds, we have some opportunities for parking lot repairs and pavement. There are a couple areas in our parking lots that we need repair. There's one parking lot in particular that is in dire need of some work, and being at South Stanley Middle School. And structural exteriors, we still have an opportunity that we need to work at Oakboro, and we spoke about this before, with the rear wall replacement. We've done the front one, now we got to address the rear. And it comes across different campuses with awning and canopy construction. So as far as sustaining daily operation and maintenance, we got our daily operations, which is our local fund. 1.9 is what it costs us for utility and energy costs. 1.5 for facility maintenance and repair. And when I talk about that 1.5, that is small projects. It's not large projects. Large projects have to come out of capital, but if maintenance goes in and paints a couple classrooms or something, we pay for that out of our local fund. And the district-wide painting, $1 million, those are larger painting jobs within the schools. Our fleet and heavy equipment, $195,000 maintenance activity, buses and fleet vehicles. We are looking at some heavy machinery purchases probably. We've had to rent a skid steer a lot this year, and skid steers aren't cheap. And so he's looking at $85,000 for the skid steer, and that $50,000 for a 32-foot, and I believe he said it was a scissor lift. Yeah, that they need, and they've been renting this from Sunbelt, I think is where most of it's coming from. And we might as well buy it, because eventually you're going to keep paying and paying and paying until you should have just bought it to start with. Mowing expenses, $125,000 and $50,000 for custodial. So the campus security, and I alluded to this earlier, you've got an outer, a middle, and an inner core. The outer perimeter is your access control. Your middle layers are like your surveillance and comms, and the inner core is your personnel. So looking back at security vestibules, we still have a couple schools that need them. Now, having said that, they're more challenging to put in because these schools aren't like some of our newer schools, or maybe even some of our older schools, where you go right in and you can have that vestibule and you're sitting right there at the office. I use Central as a good example. You go into Central, you have to go a long ways to get to the office. And you can't make a security vestibule that big. So we're looking at some creative solutions to how we're going to address that. And it is going to take actually manipulating the building in some way, shape, or form. That's just one example. We do have some intercom upgrades. We have some old intercoms that have to be replaced, and we're trying to replace them with the intercoms like we've been using, we use the ESSER funds for, which is the audio enhancement, because of also the multi-layer security features they have. And of course, security cameras, either adding or replacing. And two-way radios, got a lot of radios getting old that need to be replaced, and adding some in additional areas as well. Okay. So we're also looking at our ADA improvements. We're looking at the North Stanley High School softball field, the Aquadale playground ramp, some accessible bathrooms, ADA, and Keith talked about this a little more in one of our meetings, compliant door hardware that we're looking to install. Now, we do have an Indy Elementary ADA playground for $500,000. We are starting to add some pieces this summer. They've already been picking out, so we're going to go ahead and start that process even before funding for the next year. We use this year's monies. And vertical mobility technology, $75,000 for that Alamo High School elevator. That's an elevator, I'm sorry, that is a wheelchair lift, elevator wheelchair lift. And $55,000 for a West Stanley High School wheelchair lift that we're going to have to put in this year. One-to-one, student devices are getting more and more expensive, just like anything else, just like all technology. So the one-to-one replacement, Elliott has 1,000 student devices. We're running up, and I think you said they're about 4 or 5 years old, the staff devices.
Well, and that number would be 2,100, not 1,000, because that's what is needed to be replaced. So the majority of our devices are in between 5 to 6 years old. Can we come up?
You can come on, yeah. I got that off your last one that, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's not 1,000. Really, in order to maintain the one-to-one, we need roughly 2,100 devices a year. If we don't have that, then we put aging equipment in students' hands that breaks more often. And we've been fortunate, I just shared with Cabinet today, that the latest investment, like our work orders went down dramatically from putting newer devices in students' hands, and which means they're in students' hands more, learning more, they're not having to be repaired, not having to put older devices. But a lot of these devices were purchased in 2020. We had lots of money to purchase those. A lot were purchased at one time, and they're all aging, and we need to start replacing them. And it's the same thing for the panels. That's roughly 11 to 12 panels, not 10. And it's a rough number because pricing has fluctuated greatly this year. I mean, just this year, it has gone up $50 or $60 per device just for student devices, but also at times it's come down. So all of that's going to be dependent on everything else that happens. You want me just to finish that out? Like,
go ahead,
the charging, yeah, the charging carts are for additional classrooms because of K2 class size. We bought the carts in 2020, and we've had a good problem. We've had increased enrollment. We need a few more carts for these other areas. So we need roughly about 10 to 12 carts to finish that out so that we're not just piecing together what we have. So, and then the 5,000 is typically what we spend on these peripherals, cables that break, things that we need to pick up to keep equipment running through the year.
And you've got the 300,000 software and licensing, that's your deal.
Yeah, and that is a whole laundry list of things. So it's our Microsoft, Adobe, our Google licensing.
Homebase.
Homebase, ticketing system, library management system. There's a whole bunch in that. So I wouldn't look at the 300,000 and going, that's a lot of software. It is, but they're little bits and pieces at a time, but that's kind of what it takes to operate.
Yeah, website, a lot of
different
stuff everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I asked this in an email to Mr. Brooks, but will you speak a little bit about the one-to-one device? Because I think it's a little, because I had the question. It's not one-to-one device like K-12. It's one-to-one device
So the plan is to replace sixth grade, or third grade, sixth grade, and ninth grade devices. What we need to focus on is our 3 through 12. We have a good program started, but due to aging equipment, if we don't focus on that, it becomes something that we fall off on, and we fail on that end. So the goal is so that when a student gets a device, they maintain it for, like in high school, for those 4 years, they have the same device. They don't get somebody else's device the next year. No, if they maintain their device, they take good care of it, then they'll have a good device throughout their school. The same thing for sixth and third grade. So these numbers will fluctuate once we get to a better position too. It's just this is what's needed to get us in the right direction to making sure this is kind of a solvent plan and not where we're having to ask, students to use devices that are now going to be, 6, 7 years old, 8 years old. I can see that as these go through many hands, the age, and anybody that's had kids, it depends on how well it's taken care of. And I don't want to put something in students' hands that I know they're going to have problems with.
And K1, K2 are still using shared carts
It'll
of
be shared
computers.
carts, 10 per class, yes. We will have to look at replacing those because they're on that same schedule. Currently, right now, though, we need to focus on 3 through 12 to get those devices up to speed. And that was what I alluded to in the email. I don't want to say it's not possible, but at the same time, it needs to be that focused because resources are limited. That's the important part, so.
So here's just your blueprint at a glance, just kind of making a little quadrant here of some of the different stuff that we've already went over. Where's your next one? And just to summarize, the 26-27 budget request is not merely a list of operational expenses. It's a design portfolio built to protect our physical infrastructure assets, retain exceptional educators in a competitive market which we are in, and secure a safe world-class daily learning environment. So that's kind of what I have. Are there any questions? Yes, no, maybe?
Board members, any questions, any comments?
I do, Madam Chair, real quick. It's timely that we're doing our budget requests here soon. Fielded several complaints from people about the status of our tennis courts and our tracks, our running tracks at the high schools. We actually have one high school that cannot host track meets because their track's so out of shape and beat up. And as far as I've been told, all of our tennis courts need to be repaved. We ask for these things in our budget request, but we don't generate money. So unless the county commission comes up with money, those things don't happen. And it's kind of frustrating because one county commissioner, this was at a meeting we had May of last year, said they weren't interested in funding athletics. Well, I'm here to tell you, as a teacher and a former coach, athletics keeps kids in school. It's crucial. And another one of our illustrious county commissioners said, well, maybe parents should be paying for athletic supplies and equipment and textbooks. That's the mindset we're up against. So what I want people to realize is you can call me and complain about anything, but we need to get our county commissioners to basically fund us. And that's what this comes down to. It's not all on them. We don't have a state budget. The ADA, there's an ADA grant process in North Carolina. It's froze because there's no state budget. So the whole thing I wanted to say is when people contact us, I would just assume they contact the county commissioners as well with specific complaints. We can only stretch $1 so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I think this slide got inadvertently skipped, but we did put in there the track repairs, tennis courts, bleachers, and some other stuff. And we also, as far as the curriculum side, the support initiatives, classroom supplies, band supplies, band and athletic equipment are two different things. The band and athletic equipment, that'd be like instruments and things like that, not supplies like music and all that stuff. And you would ask us last year to up that amount, so we upped that amount. And then school nutrition, we need the freezer at Albemarle High School. We're going to have to put it in this year. That's one thing we're going to have to pay for. We just can't get around, because we tried to work it around this year, and it's got to, we have to bring food in every day, and it's not a good situation. So we really need to move forward with that. And then always looking for some furniture and equipment updates. So sorry that got missed. Okay.
Any other Questions, comments? Thank you, Dr.
Thank you
Dennis.
very much.
And to your cabinet and people who helped work. Mr. Brooks, thank you for sharing all that information. I know we've had a chance, we've had this out there for a while, and we've looked at it, and as some of you have asked people questions, which is the right thing certainly to do. So if there's not any more questions or comments, then this is coming out of the CIP committee, and thank you for the work that you've done. I just need a second to approve the budget request.
I'll second.
Okay, a second by Mr. Lisk. Again, any other discussion by board members? And thank you those that have raised questions and made comments. All in favor say aye. Okay. Opposed, no. Okay, the 26-27 budget request has been approved. Thank you. Dr. Dennis, you're going to be getting in touch. You're going to be presenting this and
Yeah, I'll ask for presentation time.
okay. And I would love to have, when you do that, and I know this is what you do, but have Mr. Brooks, your cabinet to be at, because they answer, they're able to, give that feedback and answer the questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Ms. Poplin,
Yes,
the policy
yes, ma'am.
committee worked us to death that day.
I apologize.
Were there like 25 or 30 or?
I don't know exactly, but Hope is telling me there's 22 of these that I get
22. Well, I
get
count
to
22.
read to you here in a minute.
Then some numbers were together, so, but Ms. Poplin is up next with policy.
So as Ms. Gibson has alluded to, we met on March 24th for a little bit of an extended amount of time. We have some policies that just really needed hashing through. A lot of them are general statute updates, just some name change from DPI changing some of their naming and wording, so our policies were a little off. With that, and then some were removing some of the COVID language from years ago that was put in back in 21, 22, and we just had not taken that COVID language out. So I will say all of that to say we did pull one policy for discussion that we are going to be looking at, and just to make board members and the public aware, we are in talks about policy. Where's the number? It is our community use policy, and we're going to have some more discussion on that. So just guys, be looking for that in the coming months as more information comes from Mr. Benton. But we have a list here that I'm going to read off, and I've been asked to speak on by a board member. Policy. Hold on, I want to make sure I have this right. It's our policy that surrounds immunizations. We did not change that policy. There's still, we did not change the essence of that policy. Let me say there was a small change, but there is still the exemptions and the things that have always been in there. Those are still there for medical reasons and religious reasons. So that has not been removed or anything like that. With that, we have policy 1510/4270 school safety, policy 1740/4010 student and parent grievance procedure, policy 2120 code of ethics for school board members, policy 2123 board member opportunity for development, policy 2130 board member compensation and expenses, policy 3102 online instruction, policy 3220 technology in the educational program, policy 3420 student promotion and accountability, policy 4050 children of military families, policy 4100 age requirements for initial entry, policy 4110, which is the immunization and health requirement for school admission. That's the one that I was speaking about earlier. So that was 4110. Policy 4130, discretionary admission. Policy 4155, assignment to classes. Policy 4220, student insurance program. Policy 4240/7312, child abuse and related threats to child safety. Policy 4270/6145, concussion and head injury. Policy 4300, student behavior policies. Policy 6125, administering medicines to students. Policy 6140, student wellness. Policy 6230, school meals and competitive food standards. Policy 7130, licensure. And Policy 7360/8225, crowdfunding on behalf of the school system, that are up to be tabled for 30 days.
Thank you. Board members, just make sure again that you read through, Ms. Poplin has a lot of notes out there attached with the policies, which provides a lot of information. And then table for 30 days, so they'll be brought back up at our May meeting for us to approve.
And Madam Chair, just to note, a lot of the military-related policies were really just adding in Space Force, since there is a new branch of military now. So a lot of, again, it was mainly word change in there, not necessarily change of the essence of the policy.
Thank you so much. Next, we have personnel and administration. Ms. Hedrick.
Good evening, board members. Tonight, for your consideration, I do have the April personnel agenda. Section 1 requires no action. It's simply for your information. But I am presenting an amended agenda in Section 2, which does require your vote to approve.
Okay, board members, may I have a motion to approve Section 2, the amended agenda of the personnel agenda as presented? Okay, motion by Mr. Sorensen, a second.
Second.
Second by several there. Hope. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Okay, the amended Section 2 of the personnel agenda has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We do not need to go back into closed session. I know everyone's happy. So we have comments next. And how many, are several of us planning to make some comments tonight? Okay. I want to do this just in case we go over. I would like a motion to extend our board meeting past 10 o'clock.
Motion to extend past 10.
Okay, a second. Okay, I don't think there's any discussion really about that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Dr. Dennis.
Yes, ma'am. So just a couple reminders. We do have spring break this coming week for students and staff, April 6th to the 10th, and April 3rd, it's Good Friday, is also a holiday for us. This month is Autism Awareness. It's also Child Abuse Prevention Month and Occupational Therapy Month. The week of the 6th through 10th is Assistant Principal Week, and I'm going to give all of our assistant principals the week off. And April 4th, it was corny, I know. April 4th is National School Librarian Day. And I know that Mr. Brooks over here is working on valuing his. And April 22nd is Administrative Professionals Day. And so that's all the announcements I have. We're winding down, like someone said earlier, getting ready for the end of the year, and looking also at the same time as tooling up to the beginning of next year with curriculum opportunities and things like that. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you. I bet those assistant principals were listening. I'm just going to call on board members who would like to speak. Is there anyone that wants to? Ms. Poplin?
I'll go first. I had the opportunity in March to visit Millenport for my other job other than school board. And today I had the opportunity to visit Stanfield and Locust and just leave some notes for students, some encouragement. But it's always a good time to be in the school. I haven't gotten to do a lot of school visits here lately because I have been doing a lot of work. We've got a lot coming up with United Way. But I did want to give a little bit of a shout out to Stanfield for their mini campaign. They had 100% staff participation. So every staff member participated, even part-time staff. And so we did a little recognition at Stanfield. And I saw Dr. Merritt here earlier. I think she may have snuck out. But I will say it's been really nice being in the building and seeing the kids. We pulled a little bit of a Miss Gibson today, and we had some rabbit ears and some things going on. And the kids were running back going, "I like your rabbit ears," But no, we saw kids doing egg hunts today and some things and stuff. And so it makes sitting up here tonight for a long time much more enjoyable when you get to see the folks you're doing it for, and just bringing that back home, that all the budget talks, all the things that we go through, it's for those kids, and that's what we focus on. And just hope that they all have a wonderful spring break and come back ready and energized to get at the end of the year. So thank you.
I'm glad you had a chance to enjoy. And I did see, I think I saw where Stanfield had a little egg hunt today, sponsored by with New Life Church out there. So they had a fun day.
I had some eggs out at Locust too today.
Okay, I think New Life does that one too, and I'll kind of give it a shout out there. Next, anyone who wants to speak?
You know I do. Or did you want to go first? Please go first, Ms. Whitaker.
I'm always going to speak just a minute because I realize we've been here for a while, but I just wanted to reiterate what Ms. Gibson said about the training that we were able to go to. It's awesome to be able to be together with people who are in the educational field, and they were from all areas, so that made it even better, I think. And the ability to go to the breakout sessions and actually have a teacher get up there and teach a lesson for you, and to be able to see them do different things, So it was a great opportunity for us to be able to go and do that. The other thing I just wanted to say, I'm excited about the Bible classes. I know that took a lot of work from a lot of people, and I just want to extend a thank you to them for doing that. I know that's not something that happened easily. To have 677 students in our county that's interested in attending those classes. I know it's been a while since we've had those. They did have those when I was in high school. I'm not sure when they actually went away, so I'm pleased to see those back in our schools again. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else before Mr. Sorensen? Okay, Mr. Sorensen.
You're losing your chance there, folks. Real quick, I want to shout out to the athletes that are state champions, and that's something special. It's really a hard world for most people. We take it for granted because we all struggle, but you talk about building kids that can really sustain anything, can overcome any kind of challenges or obstacles. Those state champions, especially in like the sport of wrestling and track, and I'm just in all of them. I want to give a shout out to our admins at all of our high schools. We are an exceptional system, whether people realize it or not. I'm going to specify our 2 early college programs that happen to beat Greystone year in and year out on test scores and the SBG stuff. So we got some amazing things going on in our teachers and our faculties and stuff. Our county office people are incredible. I create more hassle and heartache for these folks than I'd like to admit, but they are incredible, and I appreciate y'all. These folks over here keep me out of trouble. I was going to bring a medal for Ms. Hedrick, but we'll have that conversation another time. It's like a combat ribbon kind of thing. I got a couple extras from when I was in the service, and I'm going to put some money towards tuition for auctioneer school for Ms. Hopkins so she can go through these policies a little bit quicker. The last thing I'm going to say is this is a tough week at Southstone High School. I realize it's family down there, and I think it's the same thing at all these schools. We lost an exceptional man at South Stanley last week. They laid him to rest Monday. And the way that school came together, is what kept me in school for 28 years. So, I just wanted to, pay my respects to Mitchell Watkins. He was a heck of a man.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to give kind of a shout out to, well, certainly Dr. Dennis, but Hope. And that is, Hope's looking at me. Indy had a career fair day. I was able to be there part of the time. Hope, I don't know if everybody knows this. Hope carries these old minutes books, where, from 1885.
They're very interesting.
Stanley County Schools. The children are just, I hear some things like, did they write with an ink and a feather? I mean, it was things like that, or Hope's like, can you write really pretty like that? And they're like, no. Then Hope shows where, you go into, what's next, like the compute, a typewriter. And, some of them are kind of looking like, do you know what a typewriter is? I think I do, and then she shows that. And then she has the book of how she keeps the minutes today through computer. The students are just always just amazed at that. I do laugh every time I hear, is this written with an ink and a feather? I think that, they had to have done that back in the day. And maybe we recruited some future teachers. I think there were some that were interested in, school, maybe superintendent's job. But then also I was able to, and I've done this for several years, help out with Battle of the Books. And I just really want to say, those kids, it's like the spelling bee kid. They are so smart, and these kids read so much. And it's just fun to kind of see that competition. Greystone won middle school. We had Stanfield, I think, came in second. Locust was a tie there, and Baden won. And I'm not surprised because those students were amazing. But the teachers and media specialists and everyone that works with that, and I do want to speak that Alyssa Provencher from Aquadale organized, and she did a really good job. I want to thank the board that I've been able to have some meetings in Raleigh with the North Carolina School Board Association. They were the first ones when I was there that did pass that resolution. And there's some other things as well, but it's a wonderful experience for me, and I do want to thank the board for allowing me to do that. I want to congratulate Dr. Denison. You may have to help me. Our Stanley County Schools 2026 Teacher of the Year from Indy, Miss Louisa Susanaga. Okay, amazing. Stanley County Schools 2026 Assistant Principal was from Central, Miss Brittany Matthews. And then our Stanley County Schools 2026 Principal of the Year from South Stanley Middle School, Miss Kelly Hill. So that was a wonderful, wonderful night of celebration with them. I don't know how many went to the mini medley. It was kind of the first time because I actually had grandchild participating, but that's always, I was, man, that's a lot to run a mile. They were doing really, really good, and it was so fun to see everyone encouraging and shouting, all the schools shouting, to keep going. You can make it, keep going. I like Mr. Sorensen. I see our principals that are still here. Bless you. Our county office staff that's always here. Bless you. Our, directors, security, Miss Jennifer Hogan back there. It means a lot to the board. It's been a long night, but it also means a lot to us when we see that you support us and you still stay here. And so thank you. And finally, I want to wish everyone, not just our board members, our county office, but our teachers, our students, our families, I hope they have a wonderful Easter and come back ready to finish out the year.
Madam Chair, I'm surprised you forgot to mention that gavel that those children get to use, because that,
Yes.
when I did that, that was most interesting and most loud.
They, Hope brings a gavel. It's not this one. It's one that, why does it have that sticker on it? I don't know, it has a sticker on it, but the children love the gavel. And of course, they call it a hammer, a mallet, and then we let them, they ask me, yes, and they ask me how, I tell them, I hit this, and I say, the Stanley County School Board of Education meeting is now called to order, so they try to do that. But we do have to, now some of them have a very strong arm, and I'm afraid that mallet's going to go flying everywhere, but they had a good time. So, and I appreciate that everybody's been able to maybe be in the schools. I am not real sure at this time. I'll just have to talk with Dr. Dennis and Hope and others about, I know do we have one more visitation, or is it finished? Are we? School visits? School visits.
Yes, there is one more.
It's April something. I really want to ask and see, I know we've visited all the schools, and I know they're getting into testing and different things, so we may end up sending something out depending on if that's going to be a day where they've got a lot of testing and reviewing and things going on, so if you'll just check on that. Well, the next board meeting is, the date and time will be Tuesday, May the 5th, 2026, in the G. McIntyre Meeting Room, beginning at 6:15. And if there's no further business, I would like to have a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms.
Megan.
Megan. Second by Mr. Lisk. Ms. Almond. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We are now adjourned. Thank you.